Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Friday, time for another episode of Trucker Money, where we talk about kind of money in general, mostly building a life outside of trucking and some side income, so that if things go bad, you have multiple sources of income here. All trucking all the time is kind of boring, so kind of like to do this. Not financial advice, just sharing my personal journey and in an effort to kind of motivate and inspire you and kind of open up a dialogue. And if there's anything you want to talk about or have mentioned, drop me a note in the comments below. Make sure and hit that like button. So I like to start every week by talking about either some kind of educational lesson or something that's happening somewhere. And I just got this, I don't know, the news post or whatever, about Pizza Hut. I don't know if it's every single chain nationwide, but it's a good number of them, of the stores. And if this is something people don't like, it's got to be talked about. Sometimes you just got to talk about the truth, whether people are like it or not, because they need to hear it, and hopefully people are receptive to it. So people might not like this topic, but Pizza Hut is going to stop accepting cash. And apparently this is going to be for good. There's a lot of retailers following suit. A lot of them, the smaller ones you've never heard of, but there's an effort in this country to get rid of cash. And you might think that that's kind of a ho-hum thing, no big deal, what's the big deal, we're going that way anyway, debit cards, credit cards are more convenient. But people need to stand up to this. And I'm going to tell you why. The first part you might not know how to hear, so I'll keep it short. If you're a person of any kind of faith at all, and you don't understand why a cashless society is bad, take your Bible, flip to the back of the book, and start by reading Revelations, and you're going to find out. If you're not necessarily a person of faith or don't want to go that route, I'm going to tell you why you should be against it anyways. People are very concerned usually about losing their guns. You know, we need to be able to defend ourselves from whatever threat, including our own government, whatever your personal belief is on that. And I agree, we need to keep our liberties intact. But you ought to fight just as hard to keep your cash. And you better, because if you lose your cash, you're going to lose everything. And how's that, you ask? Well, cash allows you to handle your own business. It allows you to conduct person-to-person transactions. It allows you to buy whatever you want, when you want to buy it, where you want to buy it, from who you want to buy it. And nobody can tell you otherwise. They've been trying to get rid of cash at garage sales. You may have heard about this for years, so that people are paying sales tax and leaning on the little kids selling Boy Scout and Girl Scout cookies, just the ridiculous little things like that, lemonade stands. It's all very ridiculous, and it's not even the real agenda. There's an agenda behind this to get rid of cash, and I don't care if you believe it or not, or if you like it or not, it's reality. And honestly, it really doesn't matter what I think or what you think. It's what they think. And whoever they is, the people behind this agenda, there's some of the big names that you can thank for this. Microsoft, Amazon, Visa. Visa's a big pioneer in the cashless world. They're a pioneer in these technologies. And you might say, well, that's just stupid. What do you think? There's a person on the other end of a computer sitting there deciding what I can and can't buy? Well, no, it's far worse than that. You will be profiled, you'll be categorized, and it will all go into an algorithm. And an algorithm will decide what you buy and don't buy. You will have no more say in any aspect of your life, because everything takes money. You will go to whatever doctor they say you can go to. You will eat whatever foods they approve you to buy. It's not like you're going to go to your next door neighbor that has chickens and pick up a dozen eggs. You can't pay them for it. It's only a matter of time, if this goes through, before people start asking each other, how many nicks is that? Anybody get that reference? How many nicks does something cost? If you understand that reference, drop me a link in the comments below. I'd like to hear it. And if you do understand that reference, know what I'm talking about, you're probably truly my brother on another level. So I'd like to know how many people understand that. But anyway, it would be the biggest stomp on your freedom. It would be worse than, well, the people that like guns. You will have no more guns. You will buy no more ammunition. You will buy no guns if the algorithm says you can't. So they won't have to take away your guns. They just have to take away your ability to buy things. If they think you're overweight, or if they think you should stop smoking, if the algorithm thinks that you shouldn't have more than a 6-pack of beer a week, that's what it'll be. And there's no appealing it. There's no anything. You will lose everything. And if everybody thinks, young people out there, that everything's more convenient to use a debit card for, nobody carries cash anymore, who gives a damn what's more convenient? I think our grandparents and our great-grandparents would be ashamed of us for the life of convenience that we've built, because they knew. Quick little story, and then we're going to move on. When I was a kid, 8, 9, 10 years old, something like that, I don't remember exactly how old, we went to a local church, and I haven't told a lot of people this story. And now every summer they had a yard cleanup, and you would go and work the grounds and help the landscaping and stuff. And I knew this man before from church, and he was a Sunday school teacher and a school bus driver. He was very old. I imagine he was probably 80s back then, and this was in the 1980s, so he'd been around a long time. And we're working in the landscaping, and he's grabbing weeds and stuff, and he reaches his arm out, and I saw something right here on his arm, and I didn't have the shy little kid didn't have the guts to ask him what it was, but it didn't take me long to figure out. He had a barcode on his forearm right here. Come to find out through the course of time that he was a young child and escaped Nazi Europe. And I couldn't get all the details if he was in a concentration camp or if his family, I don't know exactly how it happened, but I'll never forget till the day I die. That's one of those things that's indelibly inked in your mind from when you're young. This guy's name was Bud. He had a barcode on his forearm. It took me a long time to kind of understand the ramifications of that. But our great grandparents and maybe even our grandparents, depending on how old you are, would take the position that we're never falling for that again. And guess what? We're gonna fall for it all over again, but it's way worse this time. If they had the technologies that they have now, back then, it's unimaginable what they could have done. Okay. So carry cash. Use cash. If you find somebody that won't take cash, walk away, and make it known why you're walking away. They probably won't care, because these places, Walmart, it's been in their plans to go cashless for years. Getting us used to the self-checkouts was one step. They've been wanting to go cashless a long time, and they'll probably be the first to do it, because they're the first to do a lot of things, especially in retail. But resist it. Stand up for it. This might be your last stand. And I don't mean to sound apocalyptic or dramatic, but it is that important. Think of one aspect of your life. You could say, well, I'll barter my next door for eggs. Hey, you only got so much stuff to barter. You got a long life to live, and eventually something's going to come up where you have to pay for it. How are you going to pay your property taxes every year, your rent? They ain't going to take that in barter. So think that all the way through before you just surrender to convenience every time. We operate a lot on cash in my household. Is it less convenient? Yeah, but we can do everything we want to do. So remember that. So let's kind of move on here and talk about for the week of July 13th to the 16th. Now, I mentioned before, July is kind of a slow month for me as far as like side income and investment income and stuff like that. But so far I've managed to eke something through. I never really sat down and planned how this income is going to come in. I don't base anything on investing on when the money comes in. It's all of what's the best sound investment and procedure here. So I never really looked through the whole year to see if I get anything every single week. Maybe someday if I get extra time, I'll do that and do some planning that way. But anyway, for this week, we only got two dividend payments. One of them was a mutual fund. It was a Fidelity Balanced Fund, which is a mix of growth stocks, and then there's some bond investing in there and some cash. It's pretty stable, middle of the road as far as risk fund. Ticker symbol FBALX. There's no yield on that. It just pays based off the underlying assets in the fund. And then the only individual stock holding that paid was Realty Income, ticker symbol O. You've heard that name. You'll hear it every month. Current yield of 4.86%. I'm doing much buying this week. I've been busier than heck. I know freight is hot. I'm just trying to bust it and then just concentrate on that. I had a little bit of money to contribute, so I just put it in some extra into Verizon. I'm trying to build that up as one of my core positions, and the price is reasonable right now. It's by no means a deep value, but I'm looking kind of through things, and there's not a lot of things right now that are deep value. This market's been on a run, but I like to. It keeps my head in the game. Keeps me focused and following through with the plan, and obviously smaller amounts of money regularly, and then when there's an opportunity, I like to contribute bigger amounts if I have it. So just kind of what happened for the week here, and take care. We'll see you next time.